Wake up, Juju. Time to go to work.
All right, can we talk about
Wake up, I get it, I get it, Wake up, I get it, I go. With everyone saying I'm up next. It's not my fault that the vocals are gold. That making the haters so upset. My life is a movie, the way that I roll. They saying I'm goofy, but baby, you know I'm making everybody obsessed. Cause we the best, how we get wrecked. And I know we gonna get bread, we gonna get bread. We gonna get bread, we gonna get bread. We gonna get bread, we gonna get bread.
Welcome to another episode of Get Wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy. I'm your host, Straw Hat Goofy, aka Juju Green. You're a movie guy, and we are here to talk about the 2025 Oscars that just happened. I just finished watching them, and I just finished making a TikTok on them and putting in my little notes. And I'm going to give you some of the big winners, I'm going to give you some of the big losers, and some of the surprises and interesting things that I saw while watching the Oscars. Now, one thing out of the way, a lot of people like to assume that I get invited to the Oscars often. I don't. I've been a couple of times. It's been great, but I don't just have like a reserved seating in the mail or something like that. I just hope that somebody over at the Academy is kind enough to extend the invite, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. So this time I opted to have a kind of watch party at this Airbnb because my house, contrary to popular belief, is very, very small, and I kind of just wanted to like have enough room to have some friends, eat some pizza, and watch the Oscars similar to what we do for the Super Bowl, because I don't really like American football that much. I don't really understand it, and when it's happening, I have no idea what's going on. And a lot of times I find myself asking questions about players and what certain downs mean and penalties and stuff like that. But this time, I was the guy. I was the guy who was the guru of the Oscars, right? Because, a lot of times when it comes to the Oscars, or at least these award shows in general, my friends have no idea what movies are nominated. They have no idea where to find these movies. My best friend in the world, we've been best friends since since 2006. We met on our 9th grade year in high school, like when we were first starting high school. And he was like, "You never put me on to any movies, man. How come you never put me on?" And I'm like, "Dude, that's literally what my whole platform is about. I talk about movies for a living on this podcast, on my TikTok, on my YouTube, on my Instagram. You can never say that I don't put you on to these type of movies." But nevertheless, he still didn't know what most of the movies nominated were. So I did a lot of explaining on who the nominees was, who I thought was going to win, why I thought they was going to win, why I thought they were going to lose. Going into this, and I'm sure some of you guys have seen the Oscar predictions podcast episode that me and my buddy Cameron did just a couple days, actually not even a couple days ago, yesterday or the day before yesterday. We posted it yesterday. But, some of my predictions came true. A lot of my predictions actually came true. There wasn't really a lot of surprises here. But going into this, like, I met one of my closest friends. Her name is Rihanna. She brought her boyfriend in, just meeting the guy, and he was really adamant that Wicked was going to win everything. And it made me think, like, a lot of people who do see the movies that are nominated think that movie that they did see is going to win. If you guys know me, and if you guys know, honestly, any other Oscar voter or anything, you know that Wicked didn't stand a chance in a lot of the categories that it was nominated in, right? Like, he thought it was going to win Best Picture. I was looking at him like, I don't think so, bro. He thought it was going to win Best Actress for Cynthia Erivo. Not a chance in hell, bro. Not to say that Cynthia Erivo isn't an amazing talent in that movie. Not to say that she isn't deserving of some type of award in that movie. She just did not deserve it, right? Like, or at least in my eyes, the Academy didn't think she was going to get it. So therefore, I didn't think she was going to get it. That one looked like a Demi Moore-lock, but we'll talk more about that. But yeah, so like, it's really funny every time this kind of comes around. Like, we treat it as this super big event in our culture, in American culture, and film culture. And a lot of times, the normal audience, a lot of people who are going to see these movies in the theater, don't know that these movies exist, right? And I tried to explain how there's a film circuit, a film festival circuit going around, how some of these films don't even get picked up by studios, and therefore they become like these smaller budget independent films. I believe one of the winners of Best Documentary wasn't even picked up by a studio when it won this award. So that is the power of some of these like films that are really great, and that also speaks to just people who just casually watch films. And what are they going to choose when they go to the theater? Are they going to choose the big big blockbuster like Avengers, Deadpool and Wolverine, or, the Doom Part 2, which was nominated, I should say? Or are they going to choose something like I'm Still Here, which was already hard to find, Anora, which got a wide release, but a lot of people didn't really see, or at least I should say a lot of, casual moviegoers didn't see, which ended up winning Best Picture. Again, we'll get into that. But I just find it funny how this here is, for all intents and purposes, a Super Bowl level event, right? We have the Grammys, we have the Super Bowls, we have the Oscars, and then, I guess when I was younger, the MTV Movie Awards. But I feel like I just heard a weird sound, and I don't like that. This is a new house, and I don't like this. If this is my last podcast, I just want you guys to know that I am in Inglewood, California. Somebody please send help. Anyway, that was a very scary thing. Maybe it's because The Substance was also nominated for Academy Award, and it actually won a couple. Actually, did it win anything? Yeah, it did. Best adapted screenplay, I believe. I need to look at my notes. Anyway, we will look at that, and we'll get into that right now. But I should just get into it right now. So the biggest winner, obviously, was Anora. Anora takes home 5 Academy Awards. And honestly, this was a big win for Sean Baker. I think Sean Baker just pulled off a LeBron James, Steph Curry level feat, which is he took home 4 Oscars for one movie. Now, this is honestly unprecedented. This is something that we haven't really heard of before. Obviously, we know that producers a lot of times, get the award, and that counts as like a producer. But, sometimes the producer is also the director, and sometimes the director is also the writer. But I don't know how many creatives are writers, directors, producers, and editors on their own film. And Sean Baker literally kind of did a Herculean effort and did all these things for the film and won all those awards for this one film, winning best editing, winning best original screenplay, winning best director, and then winning the best picture at the end of the night. And then the 5th win came from Mikey Madison, which again, big win, because even though she won the SAG award, a lot of people, including myself, thought that Demi Moore was going to win that award, or at least I thought that this was her award to lose. Now, Mikey Madison was my close second, and in my heart of hearts, Mikey Madison would have been the winner. But every time I did these kind of polls, or when someone would ask me, who do I think is going to win this race, I would just always kind of lean towards what I think the Academy would go for. And Demi Moore just had such a great run when it came to this award season. Obviously, it felt like a comeback story. She was sweeping a lot of these different award shows and things like that. Obviously not the SAG Awards, but you would think that the Academy would also award her for that. But as I also said many times before, Anora was always picking up steam a lot throughout this award show. I was talking to my buddy Scott Mance at the Publicist Awards literally a couple days ago, and he asked me, what do I think is going to win Best Picture? And I knew it was going to be Anora, with, the Academy doing something like The Brutalist or something like that. Just doing the safe choice. The Brutalist was always going to be a safe choice. And in all intents and purposes, it kind of was. It did win 3 awards as well. It was the second most awarded movie of the night. We'll get more into that later. But I feel like Anora was picking up a lot of steam. I felt like when the movie first came out, it was on a lot of people's best of the year list. It was on my best of the year list. It was my number 2 movie, just behind Sing Sing, which was criminally under nominated, if you ask me. But Anora just was an all-around great movie. Mikey Madison was holding the love for being Best Actress, and then she kind of lost it once Emilia Perez picked up that storm, which was very weird to see. But now that kind of died down for reasons we know why, Anora kind of picked back up again, and I think a lot of people saw the light with that. Now, again, Anora, big winner of the night. Sean Baker, big winner of the night. And Mikey Madison, as I saw on Discussing Films X account, apparently Mikey Madison is the first ever Ghostface to win an Oscar. So we could take that home with us and sleep at night. So I find that to be real. So yeah, once again, Anora, biggest winner of the night. The second winner of the night was The Brutalist. Adrian Brody took home the award for Best Actor. And one of the things that I found very, very interesting is this is his second time winning Best Actor. The first time he won in The Penis. And this time he was giving this very long speech. And I remember in the middle of his speech, I started, talking to my friends on the couch. I started eating my pizza. I started even showing cinematography clips to my friend because she didn't know what the hell cinematography was. So I decided to show her some really cool Roger Deakins cinematography from 1917 and things of that sort. And we were really into these different conversations on the couch. And I looked up and realized that Adrian Brody is still talking. this man is still talking. Like, I was like, wow, this guy's going on forever. But, you know, he won Best Actor. Maybe it's because they're giving him more time. But then they started to play the music. And then I was like, oh, yeah, he should kind of get out of here. And he did the motion to take the music off. He even said, I did this before. I got more to say. Can we cut the music off? And they did it. And after they cut the music off, he continued with the speech. And that part of the speech was very long. It was like watching Lord of the Rings where there was like a multiple ending after multiple ending. And you could kind of tell that he was kind of trying to find more things to say. You could kind of tell he was trying to find more things to say, but he couldn't. And then finally, whoever runs the orchestra was like, hey, cut him off, man. Cut his mic. So that was very bizarre to see. I can't remember if anyone had to have the music turned on them twice to get his speech out there. But, you know, Adrian Brody was kind of like feeling himself, and as he should. He won Best Actor. I would say deservedly so. Like, Timothée Chalamet was a close second for me, with Coleman Domingo being a close third. But, you know, he won the award, and I guess he thought he deserved all the time in the world. But I think this speaks to another point that I want to make about the Oscars really quickly, is that this felt like a very brisk Oscar, right? All the other Oscars have felt like maybe overly long, maybe a little overly self-indulgent. This one was brisk. Like, speaking of Adrian Brody getting the music called on him, there was multiple people who was called on when the music came, right? Like, it was a lot of times where the music just said, hey, let's speed this along. I don't even think 8 o'clock rolled around by the time the Oscars were finished, right? So this was a very quick Oscar. I think that's what they meant it. I think they believe that brevity means more audience or something like that. You know, trying to go with the TikTok thing. Oh my God, I keep hearing things on this. I don't know if it's like the house settling or if it's the window, or I don't know. I'm gonna try and wrap this up as fast as possible. This is not gonna be a long podcast episode. I swear to God, it's not. Okay. But yeah, so I think they were really trying to not rush, but just kind of keep it short, keep it sweet. And that's why they played Adrian Brody twice. And it just, again, it felt very, very quick. And I don't know. I feel like we were missing a little bit, right? Maybe it was the performances. Maybe it was I miss when they used to do the best original score performances. I wish they would do that again. But hey, it is what it is. It was a quick Oscar. A lot of people got to go to sleep early tonight. I don't, because I have to edit this podcast right when I'm done, so I can get it to you guys in the morning. Right now, as of the recording of this, hopefully I can get it out at that time. But yeah, so yeah, Adrian Brody wins for that. I believe The Brutalist also won for Best Cinematography as well. I thought Dune Part 2 was going to be getting that. Obviously, Brutalist has amazing cinematography. That was my close second. And some ballots, I probably might have marked that is it. So it wasn't really that surprising. It won, and you're just kind of like, yeah, okay, like it won Best Cinematography. Another thing that The Brutalist won is, give me 1 second. It won Best Original Score. Best Original Score, which you guys already know how I feel about the Wild Robot score composed by Chris Bowers. I was really pulling for that one to win, but I did think that The Brutalist had the best chance to win. So congratulations to The Brutalist for its 3 Academy Awards. Now, I want to say that when it comes to the spread of the Academy Awards, is that no other film got more than 2 Oscars, right? Like, you know, Wicked got 2 Oscars for Best Costume Design and Best Production Design, something that I told my friend when he thought that this movie was going to win everything, right? That was pretty much on point. The Substance won for Best Makeup, which obviously what it did to Demi Moore, and that also like might have hurt her chances to win the Best Actress nomination. Best Makeup. It was really, really great. I believe The Substance won one more, I believe, but my notes are a little jumbled right now. But Dune Part 2 won 2 awards, Best Visual Effects and Best Sound, also taking another win away from The Wild Robot. Flow won Best Animated Feature, and it took that away from The Wild Robot as well. Now, I don't want to say take away too lightly, because Flow has been the front runner for Best Animated Feature for a long, long while. It did win at the Golden Globes. The Wild Robot did win at the Annie Awards as well. So, you thought with the Annie Awards there was going to be hope for The Wild Robot. The Wild Robot is probably the most nominated animated film in years, being nominated for Best Animated Feature, Best Sound, and Best Score. It did not win any of those. The Wild Robot went empty-handed. I thought it was one of the best animated films to come out of DreamWorks in a long, long time. Like, I'm talking like a long, long time. Obviously, we've had Puss in Boots. We've had the How to Train Your Dragon series, but I think Wild Robot came out the gate immediately when it was released. A lot of people would agree that it's one of DreamWorks' best, and it walked away with no awards. So a lot of people will be upset at that. I'm a little upset at that, but with the movie like Flow in the race, with the sound of Dune in the race, with the score of The Brutalist in the race, yeah, it was an uphill battle, but you could still walk away knowing that the Wild Robot still had a lot of nominations to its name, and deservedly so. It's still a fantastic film that doesn't take it away. It doesn't take away the fact that it's a classic. So if you love Wild Robot, hold your head up high. We will be all right, says Kendrick Lamar. I'm Still Here, unsurprisingly, wins Best International Film. That is honestly the most unsurprising win of it, though I will say that the Best International Film category was its most exciting it's been in a long time. A lot of times, especially since the Oscar nomination pool has been expanded to 10 in the Best Picture category, is that the international film usually has one film that is a cut above the rest, right? That is the one film that's going to be nominated for Best Picture. So it's going to be nominated. It's going to win the Best International Film category, right? Now, we've had 3 films that were kind of like cream of the crop when it comes to Best International. Flow was nominated for Best International Film and Best Animated Feature, so it was a shoo-in for Best Animated Feature. But then you also had 2 Best Picture nominees for Best International Film. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that was the first time ever that 2 international films were both in the race for Best Picture. Now, who knows, maybe about a month ago, a couple weeks ago, you could have made an argument of who's going to win Best International Feature. Is it Emilia Perez or is it going to be I'm Still Here? Emilia Perez was a front runner for a hot second to win Best Picture. So therefore, could it have been a front runner to win Best International Feature? We don't know. But since that has kind of died down of the race a little bit, would it kind of take that home as well? Turns out it was I'm Still Here, and honestly, that's kind of been the move ever since Emilia Perez's fall from grace. That's why I say it's kind of unsurprising, but I do want to point out that little tidbit that the international category was the most interesting that it's been. But, however, Emilia Perez, as I predicted, still took home 2 Oscars, and those Oscars were for El Mal, which is Best Original Song. That one has been sweeping every original song category in every award show, so that wasn't surprising at all. But Zoe Saldana wins Best Supporting Actress, which, again, unsurprising because she has been sweeping award season. She has been the one saving grace that has come out of this very confusing run of possibly one of the most confusing runs of a Best Picture nominee. One of the most nominated movies of the year. I believe it had 13 nominations. It only took home 2. Could it be due to the fall from grace, or could it be like that people wisened up and said this movie doesn't really need to be here? But one thing that we all could agree on is that I guess El Mal is a good song, but we do know for sure that Zoe Saldana is a great freaking actress. And I don't want to beat too much on the horse of Zoe Saldana's deserving this win. I think we can all agree on that. But I do think that she should have been nominated for Neytiri in the Avatar franchise. There's a lot of performances that she's really been good at, but I'm glad that she finally got that Oscar and she finally has that clout. So in my hand, I have a list here of movies that were nominated for some Oscars, but ended up walking home with 0. I'm going to name a few that just kind of is no surprising, but then there's some on this list that probably will shock you. So Gladiator 2, honestly, outside of costumes, I don't think it should have been nominated for anything. Didn't really dig the movie that much. Alien Romulus, not going home, is not really something that moves me. Better Man, great movie. Maybe it had a chance in the VFX department, but going up against the likes of Dune 2, it was already an uphill battle. The Apprentice, okay, no, not really. Here's one. Nosferatu, A Complete Unknown, The Wild Robot, and Sing Sing. The Wild Robot, Sing Sing, A Complete Unknown, and Nosferatu. I just have to read that backwards because that is absolutely, I'm not going to say insane. It happens. We know it happens. But still, it kind of stinks to know that Sing Sing not only wasn't nominated for Best Picture, which I think fully deserved it, not only did Clarence, aka Divine G, not get nominated for Best Supporting Actor, this movie did not walk home with no Oscars at all. This was my favorite movie of the year last year, and it just walked home empty-handed. So, those are things that will keep me up at night for maybe till the end of time. We'll see. But all in all, I feel like this Oscar episode, I guess this Oscar ceremony was just very much par for the course, right? There wasn't really a lot of big surprises outside of the Mikey Madison Demi Moore, and even then you can't really say it's a huge surprise given that she won the SAG award. I believe cinematography could have been up in there between Dune Part 2 and The Brutalist. Again, not really a big surprise between those two. But some of the biggest surprises for me, probably the biggest surprise for me, because there really wasn't a lot of scandal that happened in this, right? There really wasn't a lot of that. There was no slap. There was no, not even a scandal, but there was no like selfie that Ellen DeGeneres took. Like, you know, I think Conan O'Brien was a great host all in all, but I think the biggest thing that kind of stuck out to me was the fact that in honoring Quincy Jones, who passed away this year, and you know, if you know Quincy Jones, you know that he's an amazing, or was an amazing songwriter, and he wrote for some amazing movies, some iconic movies. He was the first black man to be nominated for Best Original Song and Best Original Score in that same year. He also did the music for one of my favorite movies, The Whiz, which is a all-black retelling of The Wizard of Oz. I found it interesting that they chose to do that song, sung by Queen Latifah, amazingly, by the way, got everybody up out of their seats, mainly the black people. But I found it hilarious that they would do that in a year where Wicked is nominated for all these Academy Awards. So we had two separate Wizard of Oz things happening at the same time. And I found it very interesting that you had Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande dancing to The Wiz's Ease On Down the Road, sung by Queen Latifah. I listen, a lot of people say that I reach for things. A lot of people say that I think too much on things, and I joke about it and say, hey, I'm a professional overthinker. But you cannot deny that The Wiz is playing on stage while the current nominated stars of Wicked are dancing to it. I just like things like that. I like making ties like that. It's fun for me. I hope that's also fun for you. And if you didn't know that you didn't really think about that when it was happening, congratulations. Welcome to the mind. Welcome to Get Wrecked with Straw Hat Goofy. Welcome to the movie guy brain. But yeah, I thought it was funny. Also, what was really funny is that obviously The Wiz is a black thing. It's a black thing. Okay. It's a very, everybody can love it. Everybody loves it. It's a black thing. And I found it funny that a lot of black people, a lot of the black celebrities got up. It's funny because like you see a lot of them like kind of like scattered and they're getting up and they're dancing and everything. All the other ones are kind of like sitting down, just kind of nodding their heads. And so you see the shot of Coleman Domingo just in the front. He's in the front. And you just see him grooving in the center of the screen, just like, yeah, singing the song. But then also you see Coleman Domingo, Cynthia Erivo, and then there were some other like black celebrities that were dancing. But then you see Ariana Grande, and I got nothing against Ariana Grande at all. I just find it funny because, you know, a lot of people accused her of like, you know, doing blackface and, you know, like wanting to be with the black crowd and like want to do R&B and all this stuff. And then she's hanging with the black people again. And I just thought that was cute. I thought that was pretty funny. Now, obviously, on the surface, you could just look at that as like, oh, like Cynthia Erivo got up and then Ariana Grande got up. Obviously, we saw the press tour between those two when it came to Wicked, and we saw how close they were. They're pretty much like sisters at this point. And so seeing those two together was very, very sweet and very, very wholesome, singing to The Wiz, because you could tell that they probably were both listening to a lot of The Wiz during the shooting of that film. But yeah, this was like the big thing that happened for me. If anybody asked me like what's my favorite part of this Oscars, I would probably point to the performance of The Wiz, Ease On Down the Road from Queen Latifah, and those moments between Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. But those are my thoughts on the 2025 Oscars. I hope you guys enjoyed them. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. And if you want to see more of the podcast, make sure you guys hit like and subscribe. If you want to do the paid subscriptions, that is 100% up to you. We are on Substack now. And thank you so much for listening and watching the show. Make sure you share the show with your friends. Make sure you just share the show in general. I love talking about movies with you guys. And the more that I get to do it, the happier that it will make me and you as a result. Let me know in the comments, like, what are your thoughts on this year's Oscars? Did your favorite movies win? Were there any snubs? Were there any surprises? Was there anything that you want to talk about in general that I missed? Please let me know. And I will catch you guys next time when we talk about the next movie.